I'm Marisa Escobar. I'm a financial aid analyst, advisor. I just got promoted in February. Right across the hall here, is everyone familiar with the financial aid office? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I've been here about 2 years now. I am now going to be doing presentations in the college seminar classes. So what I've done is I've made my 30-minute presentation, just kind of shorten it down to about 10 or 15. And at the end, if you have any questions, I'll feel free and I'll answer questions for you. Basically, what advising has had me do is put together a little presentation called Making Sense of Your Financial Aid. And I want to focus on some things that are really going on currently instead of really broadening it. I made it just targeting to what's happening right now in financial aid as of this month. First of all, the FAFSA versus the award letter. I have a lot of students come in and say, oh, my financial aid is all set up and I've already got my loans and my Pell Grants. And then I look up in the system and I say, oh, you haven't signed your award letter yet. So what I want to clarify is, what is the FAFSA versus what is the award letter? Has everyone heard about what the award letter is? Okay. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. The website is fasfa.ed.gov. If you type in fasfa.com, this is not going to be the website you want to go to. The fasfa.ed.gov is a free site that is done through the government, and it's going to be done more immediate, and you're not going to have to worry about any other vendors charging you through a credit card or debit card. The FAFSA is the federal application for aid, which is called Title IV aid. The PTC award letter is just an institutional award letter, which is the final step where students accept or decline your Title IV federal aid. Now, Title IV federal aid, just real quickly, is going to be considered your Pell Grants, your sub-loan, your unsubsidized loan, and things like the GO grant, and it used to be like the TEACH grant. So there's a couple of other grants that also fall under there. The PTC award letter is going to be found under Campus Connect. Now, if you're selected for verification, I don't know if anybody's ever had that before, about 1 in 3 students is selected for verification through the FAFSA. FAFSA notifies us who those students are, and then we have more institutional paperwork you must fill out. That process takes about 4 to 6 weeks if all documentation is here and accurate. If you've not been selected for verification, then you're lucky because your award letter will be coming a lot sooner, and typically you'll have your award letter before the school semester starts. The PTC portal, I don't know if you guys are really affected a lot, but the award letter last year was all mailed out. This year it's going to be on the portal. And if if you're not a new student, you should already have access to the portal and Campus Connect to do those processes. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the Master Promissory Note and the entrance counseling. The Master Promissory Note is a promise to repay Title IV student loans, which is completed online. What this basically is you telling the government that you understand that these loans are not like the grant, that you do have to pay them back and you agree that you will. This stays on file at our college for 10 years. If you transfer to, say, UALR next spring, you'll need a new Master Promissory Note for them. So every 10 years you'll do a promissory note unless they change the laws, which happens actually pretty frequently. The entrance counseling, or also called the entrance interview, is a tutorial that it's like a questionnaire. It gives a little reading section, and after you've read the section, it gives you a couple of questions. You'll answer the questions. You don't have to worry about it. There's no right or wrong. If you miss the answer, they'll just tell you what the correct answer is. It's really just more of an educational tool. We're really wanting to target people into understanding what it means when they take out a loan, so they're not taking them out blind and then missing out on some of the important information that they need to know before accepting loans. These are just some little small things. The Master Promissory Note and entrance counseling is really only done, like I said, once. It's strictly for students who are receiving Title IV federal loans through William D. Ford Direct Loan Program. The Direct Loan Program is kind of new. It's been around about the last 2 years. Before that, you could take out loans through independent lenders. Like, you'd have a list and you'd pick the bank if you want to loan the money to you. Now everything's done through the government, which actually benefits the students because the interest rates are lower and it's easier to consolidate. Also, it's easier to manage your loans because you don't have a whole bunch of different lenders that are taking care of your loans after you've graduated. Both master promissory note and entrance counseling must be on file with our offices before refund checks or for the loans can be issued. This is something a lot of students forget to do, and then when the refund checks come out, they get a Pell check, but then they don't get all the what's left over their loans. So if you are taking out loans and it's the first time, you might check with us and make sure that's on file, because that will hold you up later. Okay, financial aid is always changing. I really wanted to focus on this, especially this time of year. We've had a lot of changes in the last 6 months, which has thrown a lot of students off. Spring was handled one way, summer was handled a different way, and then now coming in this fall, everyone's like, well, just a few months ago, that's not what I had to do. So just be always aware that financial aid is changing. We had some new laws that go into effect from the state, so we have to follow those new laws effective this fall, and I'll go over some of those here in a little bit. But first of all, you must meet eligibility requirements for financial aid according to PTC Satisfactory academic progress. Now what this means is every school has their own set of requirements in order for students to have financial aid. For us, we have a minimum GPA requirement. We also have some degrees that are eligible for financial aid and some degree plans are not. So you need to be keeping up with the Satisfactory academic progress to make sure that you are eligible. Now the Pell Grant, one of the things I wanted to point out about this is that it's awarded based on 12 credit hours. Has anybody ever seen their award letter? It says maybe full Pell $27.75 a semester, but then when you go to your account status, you didn't actually receive that much amount? Okay, that's what happens when, say, someone goes from 12 hours and then they decide to go down to part-time status. So if you went from $2,775 down to $1,375, it's because you're now only Pell eligible for half, which is the $1,375.
I'm sorry, do the system automatically determine that based on that?
It does. So the award letter sometimes is misleading because an award letter tells you the maximum eligibility. It doesn't necessarily tell you what your credit will be on your account status. So be mindful of that. If your totals are different, you can just check with our office and we'll explain how that money was allotted. Okay, now loans is a little bit different. Loans will be awarded based on 6 credit hours. So whatever you see on your award letter for loans is going to be the case if you're taking 6 hours or more. The Pell Grant is 12 hours or more, the loans are 6 hours or more. So even if you're only getting half of your Pell Grant, you can still be receiving full loan amounts. Okay. I wanted to let you guys know that the lifetime loan maximum is $57,500. Now this is combined the subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans, and this is regardless if you're dependent or independent. If you're dependent, your amount is lower, but at a certain point you will become an independent student, and then the maximum is $57,000. The reason I want to point this out is because the $57,500 is the lifetime loan maximum to achieve a bachelor's degree. Now the reason I'm pointing that out is because our school's a 2-year, and so you really can only get an associate's degree with us. So if you're getting close to your loan maximum, then that means you're running out of money towards a bachelor's degree, towards a 4-year. So just be mindful that when you're taking out loans, you don't want to take out too much and run out in a 2-year span. This is just an example I wanted to use. That if a student borrows $11,500 per year in loans, then they would run out of student loan funds within 5 years. People don't really understand that because they'll be coming about part-time or off and on for 6 or 7 years, and next thing you know they're out of loan money and they're like, what's going on? And that's why is you can add up really quickly if you're not really paying attention. The same thing with the Pell. This is one of the things that's effective this fall. The lifetime Pell Grant maximum is now 12 semesters. And what that means is before it was 18 semesters, so you could get full Pell for 9 school years. Now it's down to 6 school years. If you take summer school does apply and will be counted in this amount. So be mindful if we've started to mail out letters letting students know that they're getting close to their Pell Grant maximum. That also applies to a bachelor's degree. Once you get a bachelor's degree, you no longer have Pell eligibility. So if you're getting close to your maximum and you're planning to work towards a bachelor's degree, you want to make sure that you have enough Pell Grant left over to get you through all your programs.
This is in regards as far as full-time, part-time, or just period?
Period. Because see, they'll add it all up. If you're going part-time, Well, this is 12 full-time semesters.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go part-time, they'll just add it up until it goes, until the 12 semesters has been met.
Okay.
So they have like a percentage that they add up each year. And when you get close to that percentage, they'll let you know. Summer Pell programs are no longer available. This is a little bit of old news, but I just wanted to let you guys a reminder that we no longer have additional Pell. So if you take a full 12 hours in fall and a full 12 hours in spring, you will have maxed out on your Pell Grant for the year and won't have Pell Grant eligibility for summertime. So if you want Pell Grant for summer, you'll need to decline some of the amounts that you receive in fall and spring. Also, this goes with loans as well. If you take the loan maximum in fall and spring, you'll usually run out for summer as well. The loans are easy. Usually what I suggest to decline instead of the Pell, go ahead and take all the Pell, because you may not decide to come to summer school and you want to use the free money before you want to use, the loan amounts. Okay, this is one of the things I was talking about earlier. One of the new policies is that the offer letter is now only accepted online. So don't be looking for that in the mail. Just be checking your portal regularly, the Campus Connect, to see what your status is. Before I move on to this, I do want to point out too, the award letter, if you keep going in and you accept one time and then you go into it again and try to accept it again, it'll blank out. And what that means is because every time that you go in there, it thinks you want to make a change. So once you've accepted it, if you have a question whether or not it went through, just call our office and let us know. We'll tell you, because we've had a lot of students that have done that and then they got locked out and then all their aid was canceled. So just make sure that you are checking with us if you accept it and you see it's blanked out. Okay, the 1040 tax returns are no longer accepted. This really only applies to a select few, and that's the third that are selected for verification. If you were selected for verification this year, you were told that you had to return what's called a tax return transcript. This transcript must be, well, you have to get it from the IRS. You also have the option of linking it through the FAFSA. So this really was going to help you guys next year when you do the FAFSA, because when you do the FAFSA next year, as soon as you do your taxes, you want to automatically link the IRS to the FAFSA. And what this is going to do is this is going to save you time and energy later, because once the FAFSA selected you for verification, if you haven't done the linking, then we're going to send you to the IRS to go and get it. And if you call them, it takes 5 to 10 days to get it. If you go down to their offices, sometimes you have to pay to get it. So the easiest thing for you to do is just to go ahead and link it in the first time you have a chance.
I'm sorry, is it just like a little click thing?
Yes,
or?
It'll have and we have directions in the office that outline exactly which steps to click on there. We're going to ask for your financial information. There'll be a little place that says link to IRS. You click that and it will export you to their website. And then you have to be linked back in. So, and it's really quick too, because then you don't have to guess what your AGI was. You don't have to guess what your taxes were, because a lot of people, that's where they mess up, and then they start getting letters in the mail from us saying, you made an error, you made an error, you made an error. So it helps because it's automatically put in the right spot, so you don't have to guess where your numbers go. Okay, priority deadlines. I really wanted to go over this. Some of these are old, like the May 15th, 2012. That was the deadline for this fall. What the priority deadline, what that really means is if you apply for your financial aid and you turn in all your documents, which includes verification documents, if we have everything in, then you're guaranteed, we will guarantee in our office that your financial aid will be in place by the time classes start, so that you're not required to do a payment plan, and you'll have your book money and all that kind of stuff. So for fall, the deadline's already passed, but if you're coming in spring, and you're a new student, which for the most part, you guys are all going to be current students. October 15th is the deadline for new students. The one that's going to start mattering is summer. Summer is going to matter for you guys if you're coming next year, because March 15th is the deadline. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you have to turn in a new FAFSA. What it means is that you need to make sure that any summer documents that we need to be turned in the office in time, so that we can get your summer aid ready, because summer is the hardest semester for us to award in time. So if you're coming in summer, make sure that you do go by that March 15th deadline. Now, if you notice, May 15th is the fall semester deadline for next year. that's right around the time the taxes are due anyway. So as soon as you've completed your taxes, the best thing to do is go ahead and do your new FAFSA for the fall. Even if you don't know for sure you're going to school or you don't know which schools you're going to, go ahead and do that FAFSA so that we can get any kinks out, any errors, and then if you decide that you do want to come, we aren't doing that on the back end. And you can select up to 10 schools anyway, so if you don't want to just put us, you can put 9 other schools on there. All right, and then the last slide that I have is refund dates. And a lot of people right now, this is what you guys need to know. If you are a current student and you're receiving Pell Grant and loans, you'll go to the business office on September 20th to pick up your refund check. The only exception to that is if you're a direct deposit. If you have that set up, you'll just have that automatically done and you don't have to come into the office. Real quick. Yes,
where?
To the business office.
The cashier?
Right.
Oh.
Most likely what they're going to do the day of is they're going to go down to the banquet room though, and they'll have a bunch of people giving out checks down there.
Okay.
But if they're not
it
down
all
there,
at once, or?
you will get the Pell and the loan if you're a current student together. If
So I was here in the summer, would that put me as current?
depends. Have you had loans with us before?
No.
Then if your award letter says first sub or first unsub borrower, you will be one of the ones in the October 4th for the loan portion. Now you'll still, September 20th, you'll still have the Pell Grant because the Pell Grant doesn't specify whether you're new or current. But if they're not at the banquet hall, then you'll go to the cashier's window. They just do that when there's a whole bunch of people at one time. Make sure you have your ID with you. And what I was saying about the direct deposit, one thing about that, there's been a rumor going around that if you do direct deposit, you get your money sooner. That actually is not the case. Direct deposit goes in sooner if you're on our payroll and you're getting a regular paycheck. So that's kind of been confused to some students that are actually like work study and stuff. They have 2 different checks with us. So the refund checks will be September 20th. And then like I said, if you're a first-time borrower, October 4th. However, if you are a first-time borrower, make sure you have done the master promissory note and entrance counseling because that will hold you up that day.
Well, now, if it says credit at the bottom, it says unsubsidized, subsidized, and it's got CR upside it, that means everything's done correctly?
Well, the CR means credit. What you really want to be looking at is everything will be estimated right now.
It is.
And then closer, about the week of, you'll look on there and your account status is going to start changing. And you even may see that be removed for a little bit, but that's okay. It's because they're going to put it in what's called actual mode, which means they're going to say this is definitely the amount of money she's receiving so that the government can start issuing that to us. Okay? So don't freak out if you see that too. If you see changes in your account status, that is very common.
But you were saying that we need to make sure that y'all have something. What was it that you were talking about earlier?
The master promissory note.
Oh, as long as we've done those.
And entrance counseling, those will hold up your account. Now, another thing I need to tell you guys is that if you have moved recently, you want to make sure that your address is accurate because if it's not, they will not give you your check. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to put this down. Thank you guys for coming.